So with that, I think we'll get into our feature presentation for tonight. So welcoming Bob Yee, our longtime club member, talking about getting the winning comp or the winning mini comp shots. As someone that has done phenomenally well in the mini comps over the years, it'll be fun to hear his technique as to how he does what he does. So with that, we'll hand the reins over to Bob.
All right, I guess let me go to Lightroom here. Come on. So do you see the images?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
Okay. I'd like to start with this jellyfish that's taken at night. I've always enjoyed taking pictures of jellyfishes, but I noticed during the daylight, the color goes away. So I thought, well, maybe I should go ahead and uh, take a picture by the sun. That didn't work out too well. It got blown out by the sun. So I planned the next time I took a jellyfish picture, I would go take a silhouette shot instead. Opportunity came up when Linda and I were in Palau, and I got this silhouetted. Then I thought it looked better if I had it in black and white. And that's how that ended up. Okay. Now, everyone asked me about the hatching of the cuttlefish eggs. Well, this is where it started. Look at the top one. I think that's where it started. It started to move around a little bit. You can see it wiggle. It's starting to wiggle even more. That's what you got to look for. When you come upon a bunch of cuttlefish eggs, if you see one inside that's starting to wiggle, that's a sign it may start to hatch.
So how patient did you have to be for all this?
This was about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Then when it flipped over like that, I knew it was going to go.
Hmm.
So here it comes. It's starting to go. I thought, then it flipped back. Now, when it comes, you'll definitely see it starting to go out. Now it's starting to pop out. Pop out. There he goes. Just starting to pop out. You see the butt coming out first. There it is. The rest of it. And this is the new guy that just came out.
Was that super micro or
Nope, 60 millimeter.
wow? So how big was that?
That was about ½ inch.
Okay. And you've cropped these pictures or is that
I cropped this one, yes.
yeah, okay.
Now the secret, I think, my technique, and seems to be one I like the best of how to take the pictures I do. If I have a style, this is it. This is taking it eye level. Now, see, this is a pair of harlequin shrimp, not quite eye level, but now if I go eye level, it becomes a lot better picture. I'll show another couple examples. Here's a Pegasus fish. That's nice, but not great. But if I shoot at eye level, it's a whole different animal right there. Same thing with this one. This is a candy crab. Nice shot, but if I shoot at eye level, it becomes something like that. So I think it's a lot better picture, especially if you make eye contact. Same thing with these pygmy seahorses. This is just above eye level, just below eye level, close to eye level, not bad. Now I'm at eye level, and it's a lot. I think it's a lot more compelling picture. I like this picture, but I noticed it was missing any negative space, so went back. I got one with negative space at eye level. Now, just to show they come in different colors, there's a yellow one, another yellow one, orange ones. and even a beige one. This is a Denise seahorse, pygmy seahorse. Now,
This meeting is
go ahead. Did someone ask a question? Oh, guess not. This is a wonderpuss at limit. It's pretty nice, but this was doing a night dive. And just as I took this picture, it took off. And I kept snapping away as it was flying through. And that's when I managed to get this one shot. So someone asked me how I got that shot of the octopus. That was how I just chased it down. There's another technique that I use that I've never heard of anyone doing it, but this is what I do. Here's a fish of a lemon goby. Pretty nice shot. But for this shot, what I did was I put my dive light in the back of it, not the bottle, illuminate the whole bottle, and shot it ambient. I didn't use a strobe at this point. I just shot ambient. I use an ISO 400, 500 to get the shot. So it lights up pretty nice if you use that technique. I use the same technique here with the see this fish. This is not a wasp fish. It's well, anyway. I use it the same with this fish here. And with the scorpion fish, what I basically do, put my dive light on the back side of it and shoot at ambient temperatures, ambient conditions with no flash. And the same with this yawning hairy frogfish. This one, I did use a little ambient light though. I mean, a flash. I use a hint of strobe in order to light this one up to the front end. Now, this you've probably seen a lot of, is that the ribbon fish, ribbon eel, excuse me. I love taking pictures of them, but I noticed that they're kind of blah after a while. Even though I blurred the background, it still doesn't have the zing to it. And then this is when I started to use snoots. And when I used the shot, I became a big snoot fan because of lighting on this thing. It really highlights these ribbon eel a lot. So this shot converted me to using snoots. And then I use snoots on the nudie here. As you see, nudies here. And
The nudibranch that was the one before that. What type of nudibranch was that?
this one, I don't know.
That is wild looking.
I know. It really highlighted with the snoot. It made it glow.
Where was that one from?
Let me take a look. Indonesia, probably Limit Strait.
Ooh.
This one I just had, yeah, a snoot. I took a picture of this guy, and after this, I used a snoot on this. It made a big difference.
Bob,
Yeah.
just back on the ribbon eel, how did you get close enough with the snoot without him going down in the hole?
No, actually, I wasn't that. Actually, I just had a long arm.
Oh, okay.
My snoot. I have two 8-inch arms. And with the snoot. And I use a small snoot. So, and that really, like I said, this one, after the shot, I was convinced to use a snoot as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that right afterwards. And when I saw this is action of another snoot shot. So what a difference it makes. Now this one, this hairy frogfish, as you can see, I liked it, but it's kind of washed out. The background is so-so. You can't do much about it. It's black sand. But what I did was I combined two techniques. I backlit it and used the snoot at the front, a little bit of ambient light to highlight the front end. I mean, excuse me, a little bit of flash to highlight the front end. And I got this much more compelling shot, especially of the lure. one thing that Paul and I, when we took the Mike Bartlett course in the Philippines and Laos, Mike taught us, one of these taught us to shoot 3 different ways of the same subject. And so I tried that with this one. This one is, as you know, a nudibranch of eggs. This one, I blurred the background, didn't do too much. This one I shot with the snoot. I like this one better because of, it got rid of the distracting background. So one of the lessons I learned from that workshop is try to shoot your subject 3 different ways if you can. This is another case of it. The blue ring octopus. It's not shot, but kind of the distracting background. So I decided to blur it. Wasn't too bad. Then I shot it just with the snoot. So 3 different ways. And when you shoot 3 different ways, you can also compose your pictures 3 different ways. I think Tim Nelson and I were in Little Cayman when we came across a lobster and a sponge. I shot the first way. Second way, I recomposed it. It wasn't that too bad. I liked this better. But I decided to go for vertical, try to get a sunball in it. This is my third way. So like I said, try to shoot 3 different ways is one of the techniques I use. Well, I threw this in because it's one of the rarest shots I'm going to ever see and you will ever see. A seahorse with 2 eyes, a frontal shot. They never come this way. I don't know. I was so lucky to get this shot. Now, one shot I always strive for, and it's always a sure winner for MiniComps, is behavior shots. This one, you see the eggs of a jawfish. This one's jawfish barfing. No, actually, it's clearing its hole. Of course, yawning frogfish, airing its eggs, aerating eggs again. When a harlequin shrimp's tearing apart a starfish, mating pygmy cuttlefish, mandarin fish at eye level. Another behavior shot. You wouldn't say this much of it be behavior, but if you wait long enough, you can see it yawn. And you really wait long enough, you can see it stick its lure out of a stargazer. Now, this is one shot I took when we were in Truck Lagoon of a cucumber. I have no idea what this cucumber is doing, staying erect vertical. Some could tell me what the kind of behavior this is doing. I would sure like to know. But it was just vertical, yawning. Pygmies, what's it? Pygmy squid devouring something. Robust cuttlefish, flamboyant cuttlefish, eating. Bobbed worm catching its prey. Caught another one doing the same thing. So, like I say, animal behavior shots are probably great pictures. Now, this is one of the rarest pictures you're going to ever see, if not the rarest. This is as you can see, a hairy frogfish devouring its prey. I managed to catch it in mid-stride eating something. I looked it up in the Google and found out it only takes them 6,000ths of a second to devour their prey, to swallow it. So I got extremely lucky to shoot this within 6,000ths of a second.
What is it?
It's a hairy frogfish eating a fish. It's just sucking it in. A hairy frogfish.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's extremely rare shot of it actually devouring, because like I said, it takes only 6,000ths of a second for it to do it. And I managed to catch it. So that's like Tim and I said, it's luck. It's better to be lucky than to be good.
Is that also like a semi like slow shutter,
No,
or is that just
the reason
how?
why it looks slow is because it's moving so fast. My shutter was set at 3/20th of a second, and it's
Wow.
still a blur. Yeah, its shutter was set at 3/20th of a second. Like I say, they suck into prey in 6,000ths of a second. That's all it takes. 6 milliseconds. And I managed to catch it in mid-stride. So that's extremely lucky. If you can see its eyes, yeah. So all of us are taking pictures of a porcelain crab, but I decided to follow the rule of animal behavior. And I waited, and sure enough, it started to put out its filters for feeding. I didn't catch questions. I didn't quite catch that. Did you catch that, Paul?
I
Somebody
think
just went off mute by accident, but it wasn't a question.
Okay. Anyway, it's a porcelain crab. It's a nice shot, but then thought I want to get a behavior shot, so I waited around and saw it started getting out its filter for feeding. Here it is starting to deploy. Finally, it's out, but I wasn't at eye level, so I dropped down to eye level, and I got this. So, like I said, the secret to, I think, secret to great macro shots is shoot down to eye level. And when you didn't think lightning could strike twice, here it is. I was in the Philippines on this one, and there was another cuttlefish egg. Look at the lower right-hand side. See how it's elongated? The one in the lower right. That's another sign that it's starting to hatch. Sure enough, when they waited just a couple of minutes, they would start to pop out. Looks like alien popping out. There it is, zooming out now. Boom. It squirted right out. And that's the new guy. Now, this one is a robust ornate ghost pipefish. I liked it a lot. These guys were hard to take a picture of sometimes, but I blurred the background to maybe make it stand out, but I didn't like the way it looked, the background. So I decided to use crinoid for a background. Unfortunately, it got buried in it, didn't look quite right. So if you notice to the top of it, just an inch above it, is a juvenile one, got kind of buried into the crinoid. So I made a point to myself, the next time I see one, I was going to blur the background as much as I can. So when I did see another one, I did blur the background, and I shot this. And this was shot at f3.5. And that's my end of my presentation. I told you, I taught you everything I know, and so it was going to be a short presentation.
that's a great shot.
Matter
Great presentation. Thank you.
matter of fact, this shot I took in an Alex Mustard workshop. Alex Mustard liked it a lot. Matter of fact, he liked it so much, a year or two later, he made a similar shot, a slightly different background, and he got Photographer of the Year award. So I'm quite proud of this and Alex Mustard.
I was
Okay.
going to say that photo looks like vaguely familiar and all that, and that's probably why.
That's why, because Alex Mustard took that almost the same shot of mine, different background, but he did the same technique I did. And by the way, that's a tube anemone in the background. Okay. So I'm open to any questions you guys may have. Let's see, if any.
So can you go? So one question I had was you had some snooted pictures where you were doing the trios, and some of them it was difficult to see how you lit them so precisely that only the entire subject was lit, but there was no spillover
Well,
at
this
the edges.
one technique to use is when you buy the snoot, especially the one they sell from Backscatter, they have different cutout for shaping the light, the
Yeah.
oval backgrounds. And if you get close enough to it, you can pretty well just cover that.
But aren't all of them, like the subject I'm thinking of was oval shaped, and I thought they only had round apertures in
No,
the
they have oval
snoot.
shaped apertures.
They do
Oval.
have those? Is that
Yeah.
what you used?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the fitted min.
And then and then did you have different sizes of oval apertures, or did you have to
Yes,
adjust the
they're,
distance?
they're different sizes.
Okay.
And you can adjust the distance too.
So do you have like multiple strips
Yeah,
with the snoot?
I just have two strips.
Oh, okay.
One's round with different sizes. The other
Yeah.
strip is oval with different sizes.
Okay.
And I use them
Okay.
both.
Interesting. Yeah. Wonderful shots. I can now see why you were reluctant to do this presentation. I can tell it took you a long time to put all these shots together, but I really appreciate you sharing them with us.
Well, I thought I show you the techniques I use and things I learned
Yeah.
over the course of the years, and I'm a slow
Yeah.
learner. And I taught you everything I know. That's why the presentation was so short.
Yeah. Well, no, it's also because you went pretty quick, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think that what I'm trying to get at is that if I have one technique, it's probably to shoot at eye level.
Hmm.
If that's the thing. And
When you say that though, it's not entirely, I think you also mean like shoot up, right? Rather than shooting down.
no, actually
Not really?
shoot at eye level. What I try to do is make eye contact
Yeah.
with the animal, and he makes eye contact with
Yeah.
shots become more compelling when that happens.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's what I really try to get at. Especially when I took pictures of let's see if I can find it again, of
Which snoot were you using, Bob? Was that the backscatter?
the backscatter snoot.
Okay.
Like this candy crab, I mean, I could see its eyes on this one. It's not bad, but it's more compelling when we make eye contact, like this. And same thing with the pygmy seahorses. I don't quite make eye contact with this. Don't quite make eye contact with this because I'm shooting below it. But when I'm shooting right at it, there you go, there and there. So it's more compelling if you make eye contact and they have eye contact with you.
So on a typical dive, how many subjects will you choose to shoot and how long will you spend on each subject?
I shoot maybe about 10 minutes on 5 to 10 minutes on what I prefer.
Okay.
But the trick is, most people make a mistake when they go to Analao and Palau. I mean, Analao or
Lemba?
straight. They go to the dive guide, and the dive guide asks them, "What do you want to shoot?" And they give them a shopping list of what they want to see.
Yeah.
And the dive guides, bless their heart, will do the darnest to fulfill the wish to shoot the subjects they want to see.
Yeah.
I don't. I says, look, just take me to the dive site where you see the most interesting sites that are photogenic. And I don't worry about, if to shoot a rare species. If I can shoot that's something that's more photogenic.
Hmm.
So when I go there, I just shoot, whatever available the dive sees at the time. Instead of him searching around for this weird subject and you're wasting time because you're not taking pictures of things that are photogenic. So I wouldn't burn the guide with, I don't give him a big list. I said maybe one or two things, but I don't have a shopping list of things to do. And another thing about shooting another secret I could teach you about shooting these, making eye contact with these subjects. Don't use the focus light. I never use the focus light because it just blinds them. They turn away. Especially,
I don't understand how you could possibly get the snoot, correctly sized and aimed unless you're taking tons and tons of shots.
No, these shots here of the
I realize those are not snooted, but the ones that are, how can you do that without using the focus light?
let's see, in a way, I do use the focus light in a little bit of way. Because
Okay.
the snoot I use has a little beam of light that comes down.
Yeah.
And that's to earmark where the rays, where the strobe's going to hit.
Yeah.
But I don't use it per se as a focus light.
I see.
And in other words, it doesn't directly go in his eyes in most cases.
It's not bright enough to disturb the subject.
Yeah, and it doesn't go directly in their eyes.
Okay.
Like these pygmy seahorses. I don't use any focus light at all.
Uh-huh.
Any light at all. They just shy away from.
Yeah.
So you just got to shoot them straight without any focus light.
Okay.
So that means you're going to have a camera that shoots at relatively low light. That can focus at relatively low light.
Mm-hmm.
These seahorses usually at 80 feet or down. So that's one of the techniques I use. Matter of fact, I may use my dive light, shine it on the backside of it so the seahorse's face is the other way. Then I turn off the light and shoot. And another technique I do, usually if you go for a group of two divers or three divers, may take turns taking pictures of that same subject. So what I usually do is I usually go last. I said, I'll go last. And I stay about 20 feet above them, let them shoot as much as they can. When they're done, then I go down and shoot. And it gives me a little bit more time. And I stay 20 feet up to maximize my decoy time. So that's the reason. Okay.
When you're snooting, how much do you kind of like dynamically move the snoot around like as you're trying to get the shot versus I guess what is your snoot positioning technique? Because that's one of the things that I've always sucked at.
Well, what I do for my snoot technique is before I go shooting something, I pre-position my snoot and take a shot to make sure it's right where I want it, in the center, usually in the center of my viewfinder, and I focus it right there. And I immediately try to find a subject to fit it in. Of course, that never happens about 80% of the time, but it's a starting place. If I'm there, then I use my left arm. I use my snoot on the left arm. I use my left arm to reposition the snoot as I shoot. And after a while, you get pretty decent sharp shoot. After a while, I learned to shoot a snoot while the object was moving.
That's pretty good. That's what I need to practice enough to be able to get there. I am much more in like your beginning stage of like, let's get it kind of pre-set up and hopefully we get something that fits in that area. But man, I am so jealous of the people that can like dynamically reposition it or strobe or snoot as things are moving around and all that. That is
Yeah, a lot of people do that, but a lot of it has to do with luck too.
yeah.
And you can take a lot of shots to make sure it's luck to make it look like a lucky shot. Okay. Yeah, but the one like I said, this is probably this is probably the luckiest shot of all. To take something like that in 6 milliseconds.
Could you even see the fish being eaten, or you just saw the thing open its mouth and?
No, you don't even see it open his mouth at all. How I took the shot is very simple. I could see it at the time its lure was out and the fish was coming to it right near that lure.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, I'll fire a shot. Just like fired a shot, it sucked it right in.
Wow.
So it was extremely lucky.
Hmm.
I only have one shot.
Hmm.
Even though I fired at 3/20th of a second, which is 3 milliseconds, some of it's still a little bit of a blur.
Mm-hmm.
It moved that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any other questions for Bob?
So how many years have you been using the snoot now?
At least about 4 or 5 years.
Mm.
Yeah, about maybe 4. Yeah, about 3 or 4 years. I think I don't know. I started after Tim. I think. Well, when did you start using your snoot, Tim?
I started, I think, 2018 after I learned it on Analyze,
Okay.
and I've got the Sega snoot, which I guess they've got different apertures for it, but I've just got the basic, what was it, five or six different sized round holes, and usually I set mine up directly overhead.
Yeah.
And and I kind of get it dialed in, and then look for things that are about that right, about that space. So,
Yeah. It's to be honest, it's rare for me to have it dialed in and shoot a subject right there and then, and it'd be perfectly matched up. I
uh-huh.
usually have to move the snoot around in order to work to get it to line up right and all that. And one thing you should always do, and I always do too, is I forgot to mention, use spot focusing. I use spot focus continuously whenever I shoot, in order to make sure I shoot the eyes, and it's perfect. It's perfectly focused. Like this shot here, I continually move my spot focus to make sure that the eye was focused and in sharp as I could get it, and blur the rest of it out. Because I was shooting with this one 3.5 f-stop at 3.5.
What do you
So
mean move your spot focus? How are you doing that?
my camera, I don't know about yours, it's got a matrix of focus points.
Right.
You pick the one you want,
Yeah.
and I keep picking the one that'll match the composition I want, and I pick it so the spot focus is directly over the eye, like in this case.
That sounds easy with if you wasn't in a housing, it sounds very hard in a housing to do that.
Well, in my housing, it's not that bad. It's just as hard. It's just easy doing as a housing it is in a camera, to be honest.
Okay.
And if I practice, and to be honest, I practice enough. I've done it 1,000 times, so
Hmm.
I mean it's second nature. But the thing is, when you shoot like this, in order to blur the background and make your object sharp,
Mm.
the eye, you got to use that spot focus.
Yeah.
If you notice, the tail is a little out of focus,
Hmm.
but the eye is right on, and most
Yeah.
of it's right on. But I'm shooting at f3.5, so if a paper thin plane of focus.
Do you do that also with the pygmy seahorses? I mean, they're so small.
No, the pygmy seahorses, actually, I don't. Sometimes I shoot f22, but most of the time I shoot f14 with the pygmy seahorse. To be honest, the pygmy seahorse is so small, the plane of focus is not that it's not that big. So you could
No,
probably
exactly.
f14. And the
Yeah,
reason I shoot shot f22 sometimes. It depends. What I like to do sometimes is in this case, let me see if I get it. In this case, I shot this f22. This one I shot at f32.
are you focusing as you're shooting, or are you focusing and then away from the subject and then leaning in, like focusing through movement? How do you focus for the pygmy seahorses?
Same as I did when I mentioned before. I use spot focus,
Okay.
and this one, and if it depends if I want to blur the background. If I want to blur the background, I shoot at a bigger aperture. This case, I shot at f16 to blur the background, be just directly behind the seahorse. In this case, it didn't matter. This case didn't matter at all because there's no background at all. But this case, I wanted to blur the background. Luckily, f22 was good enough.
Hmm.
Do you find yourself generally using more of like a with autofocus set to continuous, or do you do it set to single and then kind of?
I try to use back button focus. And I use back button focus on continuous mode. But to be honest, I continue to hit that back button focus. I keep hitting the button and I freeze it, keep hitting the button. I just don't hit the button and let it continue to focus. I just hit the button, have it focus. Because one thing I don't want to do is miss the shot on my shutter. But I continue to use back button focus all the time. And between that and pinpoint focus, select my focus point. My thumb's pretty busy.
Just on this shot, is there a reason why the shutter speed was so fast?
The shutter speed was this at 3, no, oh, yes, it is. I want to make sure that I had a dark ambient background. I didn't want to have, a murky water seep through my pictures. That's the reason why.
Great shots.
Okay. And if you know one of the things, let's see, I'm trying to show you is that, no. Come on. No, I can't find it. I wanted to show you something, but I guess I can't find it right now. Oh, if you notice, one of the things technique I enjoy doing is just using my dive light and put it back of the subject and shoot an ambient light. In other words, no strobe, or very little strobe. In this case, my ISO was 200. In some cases, my ISO's, like this one was ISO 1250. But I just used my dive light for backlighting with no strobe at all. So, and I did the same for this and this, because I found if I used first of all, it's hard to, I didn't want to take my strobe off, my other strobe, and shoot it. And when I did do that, sometimes I don't get the glow of the bottle. This way, I'm guaranteed the glow of the bottle if I just shoot ambient. This one I shot at f14 at ISO 400 with no strobe.
For the ones where the fish was just kind of like out on the sand, were you having to just like constantly reposition your focus light that's kind of like backlighting it?
No,
Was it just kind of, so it was just kind of hanging out there?
that's the beautiful part about it. Once I set my light down, I don't have to mess with it or mess with the sync. If I was using a strobe, I would have to mess with my sync card, positioning. But once I set the light down there, I don't have to touch it at all. And I just worry about shooting with my forward strobe or any strobe at all. If you notice, Backscatter uses where they have a remote strobe, but it takes, add it up, it takes about 3 strobes to fire that thing off. It's really complicated. So rather to make it simple, I just use my dive light, put it in the back of the subject, and shoot ambient. It works reasonably well. And it makes things a lot simpler. Okay.
Great pictures.
All right. You were there for some of them.
Yeah, well, mine don't look like that.
Awesome. Thanks for the great presentation, Bob. It's good hearing your techniques after seeing you win MiniComp after MiniComp after MiniComp. So hearing more about your techniques is it's nice to hear.
All right. But my best technique of all, be lucky.
Well, and I think the other thing, Bob, I mean, in fairness, that really is the determining factor here is who's your roommate in analog.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Paul. You were my role model.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is your snoot lined with aluminum or some sort of reflector to save battery power or get more range?
No, not at all.
Does anyone do that?
I don't know. I haven't.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, for years I fought off using the snoot because I figured I could always do everything in post. I could use radio filter and get rid of the background by using radio in post. But then I started to learn that you can't do the same lighting in post as you do with a snoot. And the way the subject comes out, especially when I showed you the God, what was it? Make him go. Let's see if I go back to it. There we go. Let me go back. Let me see, what was it? Oh, yeah. Especially when it comes something like this. And then you go like that, or the difference in lighting. Unbelievable. So you can't replicate that in Lightroom. So that's when it became a big snoot convert, was this shot. You know, this shot, especially this shot here. So you snoot whenever you can, especially for macro, but unless you want a background, a desired negative space.
This looks like a night dive.
No, it's actually it's a day dive.
Can I see the previous one and how deep were you?
Oh, this couldn't be very much deep, maybe 60 feet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, different shot and a different, well, first of all, make it dark as possible. I shot this at 3/20th of a second. ISO 100, which is the lowest ISO I could get.
Do you need that faster shutter for movement?
For movement and to get a dark ambient.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't you just turn your strobe power down?
Yeah, but I would have ambient light seeking through it though, instead of getting a dark background.
Oh. I I was in a meeting, so I missed the first part. Where is this?
This was taken in Indonesia, probably Limbit.
Where?
Limbit Strait.
Wembe?
Limbay Strait.
In okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
No more questions. Thanks again, Bob.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Really appreciate it. Okay. So we will change.
Does anyone know if Bob was using the Lightroom subscription or the old standalone?
I use a Lightroom subscription.
Is it any better than what's better about it than the old DVD 5.5?
There's been so many changes to Lightroom. It's almost